I'm just waiting on my clock to say 11 o'clock and then I'm gonna start. Good morning, everyone. This is Area Mays with Kaizen Realty. This is Let's Talk About Real Estate with Area Mays. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I know that it's a very cold day. We've had some lots of snow and ice, so staying inside and staying warm is really important right now, and just having all the necessary things that you need to do to maintain through this cold weather. But thank you so much for logging on today to Let's Talk About Real Estate. I'm excited. We began a new year, 2026. When there's a new year, there's always new things that come out during the year, and we're really excited about the real estate market and what's going on with the real estate market. Buying real estate is it's an investment. It's something that we want everyone to know the importance of investing into real estate, buying homes, how it can be generational wealth, how it can be a benefit to you opposed to renting. Of course, when you get ready to purchase real estate, you got to be prepared to purchase real estate. And now is a great time. If you intended to buy a house in 2026, now is a very good time to start to get prepared to purchase a home. And then what do you think? What do we need to do? Someone may say, what do you need to do to get prepared to purchase a home? First, you want to be sure that your credit is up to par. The credit score that you need is about a 620 credit score. If it's higher than that, that's very good, but a 620 is what you need. You need to be on the job for at least 2 years. The lender would need to have your tax returns and your W-2. And something very important has taken place with me in the new year. I have partnered with Neighbors Bank, and they're allowing me to provide loans to home buyers and to provide financing for home buyers and refinancing. So that's really good. I've gotten a title now that I'm a real estate agent as well as a loan officer. So I can provide you with the financing to purchase a home or financing to refinance a home. So that's some really good information. And one of the benefits that also I can provide is that if you do fill out a loan application with Neighbors Bank through me and you don't qualify, we have free credit consolation, which means that you can get counseled by a professional person to help you get your credit up to par. And their return rate on that is usually about 90%. Everybody that does what they give you instructions to do in a few months, then you're able to possibly purchase a home. Now, we don't make any promises because it's on an individual basis. So we don't make any promises on we can get your credit score to here, we can get it to there. But typically, if you follow the guidelines and follow what you've been told to do, then you can, which that will help you to be a new homeowner if you like to purchase a home. Being prepared to purchase a home, again, I say credit score about 620, 640. But if it's even higher than that, that is really, really good. Being on a job for at least 2 years is really good. And if you hadn't been on the job for that particular job for 2 years, as long as you have a work history of 2 years. A lot of people say, well, I haven't been on the job for 2 years, but I did move from one job to another job. Of course, that's still fine because you didn't have a gap in your work history. So those are really important things to do when you're getting ready to purchase a home. The most aggressive time that buyers are out looking for houses is between March and September. Right now, it is a buyer's market. So what is a buyer's market? What that means? That means that there's quite a few houses on the market. Sellers are more negotiable with the sale price as well as paying your closing costs, paying for home warranties, and doing things that helps you to get closed on a transaction. So Now is a perfect time for a buyer that's interested in buying a house to purchase a home. If you have any questions about this, feel free to give me a call at any time. Your initial step is getting pre-approved. So your pre-approval is would be your roadmap in reference to you getting ready to move forward. It determines how much of a house you can buy. It determines a lot of factors. Having it pre-approval gives you options if you want to live here, you want to live there. That's going to be your roadmap to your new home purchase. So a pre-approval is very important. Once you got a pre-approval, then you want to get in contact with a knowledgeable realtor, someone that can help you find the house and that's going to be working for your best interest. So whoever you get to be your realtor, you can be selective. I'm not steering people directly to me. If you want to call me, that's fine. But as long as you're with a knowledgeable realtor, that's what's most important. And then, of course, searching for your home. What's important with that? Location. Location is very important. School district is very important. So a lot of factors work into that. A lot of people will come and say, well, I want to be near, if they're an elderly person, they would say, I want to be near a hospital. I want to be near my job. You have that choice to make once you've gotten your pre-approval. So finding your home um, and your realtor negotiating your offer is the way that you're going to get into your home. At once you submit an offer, just to let you know, once you submit an offer can be accepted, rejected, or counter. So you need to know those terms so you can know what's going on with that. If an offer is accepted, that means that the seller has agreed to your terms that you submitted. If it's countered back, they're basically saying that no, we won't accept this, but we'll accept that, which allows you to come back and then you can negotiate even a little bit further. If they decline, that means it's rejected. Now, rejected doesn't necessarily mean that I can't get that house unless somebody else has already gotten it. Rejection just means that you start the process all over again if you're more interested in that house. And at that time, you got quite a bit of knowledge of what that seller is expecting. So you want to ask the seller from the beginning for everything that you want when you get ready to purchase a home. Some of the things that you want to ask the seller for is possibly pay your closing costs, because there's a difference between down payment and closing costs. Closing costs can be as much as about 3% of the sale price. A down payment, if you get an FHA loan, could be 3.5% of the sale price. So you want to be sure to save up some money. And we've talked about getting into houses with no money, and that is an option of getting in a house with a 100% loan. But even with that, you're going to need closing costs. You're going to need money for your appraisal, your home inspections. Then you're going to need money to get moved into the house, getting everything transferred, your utilities transferred, maybe a moving company. So we highly recommend that you do save up some money when you get ready to purchase a home, because it can be a little bit devastating or disastrous when you don't have money and you need money to get moving into a new house. So we do recommend that you save up money for a home when you get ready to purchase a home. And we know that home ownership is generational wealth. So we encourage everyone, if you desire to buy a house, get prepared. Get prepared to buy a house and then move forward with it, because that's what is the American dream. Everybody wants to have home ownership. I think sometimes it changes a person's perception. It helps them to feel really good about themselves and be excited that they're paying their monthly payment on something that they can one day call theirs, and it's an investment. And then, of course, when you buy a house, you have equity in your home. You can use that equity for so many various things that you would want and need. It can be used for updating your house, for remodeling your house, for vacations, for school, children's school tuitions, and things like that. And even when you purchase a home and you move in with equity, that's like money in your pocket. I had a client the other day. He's purchasing a home and the sale price was 269, and the appraisal went out and the house appraised for $4,000. So what does that mean to him? That means that he's moving into a house that already has equity in the home. That's a great deal, which means that if he decided to, and which of course he probably won't, but just if he decided to close on that house and then later on wait 6 months or a year to refinance that house, then he could have a tremendous amount of equity that he could use for whatever reason he may want to use. So equity in your home is very good and can be used for various things. So we do recommend home ownership because there's so many benefits to home ownership. And the last meeting that we had, and we talked about the homestead exemption for whomever may have bought a house last year, or if you have never filed for your homestead exemption, we highly recommend going ahead and filing for your homestead exemption because now is the time. Between January the 1st and March 31st is the only time of the year that you can file for your homestead. And you can take advantage of the benefits of that. And for Mississippi residents, what that really means is that you save about $300 a month on your mortgage payments. Also, they have the benefits of if you're over 65. If you're over 65, then you can save as much as possibly half of what you pay for your real estate taxes and sometime more. So that's very important. If you're a disabled veteran, a 100% disabled veteran, if you file your homestead, you may not even have to pay taxes. Matter of fact, if you're a 100% disabled veteran, you won't have to pay taxes. So that's a savings there per month. And then the benefits for a disabled veteran is that also you can get your car tags for $3. So I put emphasis on this here because there may be someone that's not logged into this webinar or may not hear this, but you may have some family members or relatives that you can pass that information on to so that they can take advantage of the benefits of being a home ownership and getting a discount on the taxes, which equivalent is to you putting additional money in your pocket. So passing that information on is really helpful for people in the community and to help other people. So be sure that if you heard that from me, that you'll be sure to pass that on to your family member that you know who can take advantage of it. And then we talked about purchasing a home. You go through the process of purchasing a home. You've gotten your loan approval. You got your real estate agent. You possibly have already found your house, and you're getting ready to close. So what does that means? That usually means that you out about 30 days. It takes from the contract being bonded to closing, and you're in the middle of the process where you are now waiting on the lender and the closing attorney to do their due process in the transaction. So that's the time that you really has to give the loan officer everything that they're requesting. And that's something that I want to put emphasis on so that this can help to make your home purchase an easy process. When you're purchasing a home and you've gotten pre-approved and the lender is asking you for these documents and those documents and other documents, and they're repeatedly asking you, what I urge you, not urge and encourage you to do is that I would encourage you to just give them what they want. And the reason why is because you can't get the loan until you've satisfied the lender. So if they're asking for things, don't get upset. Don't think, well, these people's asking me for these things repeatedly. They're asking me for things that I don't think they need. These are things that you need to get the loan to the closing table. So just be patient with them. If you have documents that you previously sent them and you have them in your email, if they ask for them again, just send it to them again. These are the things that it takes to get to the closing table. And the attorney office, and what they're doing is they're doing a title search so that they can be sure that you're getting a good property, that there's no liens against the property, and that there's no title issues and things of that nature. So the attorneys being involved, the lenders being involved, sometimes it's stressful. And I've had some buyers that has really got stressed out purchasing a home. But I can tell you this here, if you do what you're supposed to do, that helps to make it a easy process so that you buying a house will not be stressful, and it'll be a fun process that you can go through those 30 or 45 days and can be more relaxed. And then at the end, you get your clear to close, you get the moving in the house, you get your keys, and that's just a really, really good feeling. And it helps you to just you help you to feel good. If you got kids love to have a new home. So just making the process easy as possible for you is what it's about. And then getting your clear to close and moving into your new home. So remember all the things that I said to get prepared to move into the house is that credit, save up money, and do everything that the lender has asked you to do so that this can be an easy process. It can be a fun process and it won't be so stressful for you. Moving in general is just stressful. So just that takes that little part out so that it can be an easy process. Now we want to talk about selling your home. This is an absolute good time to sell a house as well. Usually between March and September, as I mentioned before, is the most aggressive time to get prepared for whether you buying real estate or whether you selling real estate. So we're going to flip the script and talk about sellers. What sellers want to do now if they're interested in selling your house. You want to get your house prepared to sell. And what that means is that possibly contact a realtor, ask them to come and look at your house and tell you what suggestions that they would suggest, the things that you may need to do to prepare to sell your house. I can tell you some things that would be very important is that if you have rotten wood on your house, it's very important to get those things fixed. If you have some updates and things like that, if some fixtures, some light fixtures, and possibly painting, all of those things help you to sell your house pretty quickly. So getting a realtor to come and look at your house and tell you what you may need to do to get your house sold, and then to give you a CMA, a comparable market analysis. That's so help you out so that you can know what your house may value. Now, keep in mind that a comparable market analysis is not an appraisal. So, after you've gotten a contract on a house, an appraisal would come to the house that the lender has seen it. So, sometimes that can be a hit and miss. You know, it's not just really accurate, but it's close to accurate to get a CMA. And the CMA is determining what your house may value, but what really determines what your house value is what your houses in the area has sold for. So when we look at the CMA, we look what the houses in the area have sold for. We can give you an estimate about what your house is going to sell for when you put it on the market. So a CMA is very important. Understanding the CMA, those are the comps of the houses in the area. And after you've gotten all that information and gotten your house up to par, then you want to list the house and get ready for it to be shown. And then, of course, as it's being shown, then eventually, then you want to get a buyer who's willing to buy your house and then cooperating with them. You do want to be prepared that when you're doing your calculations, that you also include possibly paying a buyer's closing costs because they're going to ask for it, and that's going to come from your net proceeds. So that's something that you want to definitely calculate in the numbers when you're getting your house prepared to put on the market and what your net is going to be so that you can know that after all the expenses of selling your house, which would be the real estate fees, you typically have to pay for the buyer and seller real estate fees. That's typically about 6% of the sale price. Then you're going to have attorney fees for yourself. The attorney fees for yourself is going to be about possibly $1,500. And then the buyer's closing costs, and that's typically about 3% of the sale price. And then there may be some other fees that may be included, like when a buyer get the house inspected, there may be some repairs that they may request. So you want to calculate all of that into what it's going to take to get your house sold and what your net is going to be at the end of the day. Your exit strategy, that's what we call it. So those are the strategies for getting prepared to buy a house and getting your house prepared to sell. I really appreciate you all tuning in today. So I want to take questions. If there's anyone that has any questions for me, I want to take questions. And when we meet again in February, we'll go a little bit more in depth and I'll have some more vendors that may attend the meeting so that we can have some more helpful information for you all. Right now, is there any questions for me?
I think we have a question that I saw off of social media, saying, what would you say to someone who prefers renting over owning a home?
I would recommend that if you're renting and your credit is up to par, I would actually say I would recommend purchasing a home over renting. And I don't know if you all know what the rental rates are today, but they're very expensive. So sometime a person can buy a house and pay less per month than you can renting. So my answer to them would be is to see if you can purchase a home. If you cannot purchase a home, then let us try to help you with credit consultation so that we can help you to get prepared to purchase a home in the future. Now, some people want to rent for different reasons, meaning that they don't want to cut grass or they don't want um, a lot of things. They want things where a renter, like an apartment complex or a place that you got someone that's going to maintain it. So those are some people's opinion of why they don't want to buy. But I would highly recommend for you to look forward to trying to purchase a home over renting. Renting, you're just basically paying somebody else's to stay there and you put money in somebody else's pocket. Buying your house and you make your monthly mortgage payment each month and then maybe pay extra on your principal. That's something that we really put emphasis on if you're a homeowner to pay extra towards your principal. Then you put in money into your own pocket. So, that's a conversation for a person that when you think about what exactly am I doing and which direction that I want to go, my perspective is that buying a house is better than renting, but everyone has a personal preference about that.
Another request, asking about your new partnership with the bank.
Yes. Okay. Well, I am now officially a loan officer with Neighbors Bank, which means that I do have a link that I can send you all that you can fill out a loan application. We provide all of the services that all the other banks provide, which is FHA loan, conventional loan, VA loan, and down payment assistance. However, the credit score to get pre-approved with us is 620. But if you wanted down payment assistance or something like that, then you would have to have a 640. There is one of the biggest perks is that there's no lender fee. So your closing costs with us may be a little bit less than with some other banks, but you still want to do some comparison. And I can provide you all that link too.
I'm not seeing any more questions off of social media. If anyone online has any questions, they're more than welcome to raise their hands or put it in the chat.
Okay, if there's no more other questions, we really appreciate you all tuning in today. We'll be back here next month, same time next month. We'll give you all the dates, and we want to say stay warm. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me personally. My phone number is 901-335-9324. Again, that's area Mays 901-335-9324. Again, thank you so much for tuning in today, and you all have a blessed day.